And welcome to this episode of Selling Through Partnering Skills, where I am delighted to be joined by Harry Novic. Harry, hi.
Hello, Fred. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. So Harry is founder of Rocky AI. And as a result, this is going to be a slightly different episode in that we're not going to take the normal structure. We're going to talk about coaching in particular, and quite a specific, quite special form of coaching. So Harry, just before we get going into that, can you just tell us a little bit about Rocky AI? Because this will explain why we're going to be slightly different today.
Yes, thank you very much. So Rocky AI is a personal development app which is designed for young professionals developing their soft skills in leadership and confidence, paired with doses of well-being. There are kind of some apps out there that do that in different ways by connecting humans, by connecting professional coaches, by doing follow-up tracking with an app on software. But what is special about Rocky is that it is a coaching chatbot. And that is completely new because the coaching chatbot is designed in a way to help you actually following up and to implement those things in your life that you need for growth and success. And for doing that, Rocky and the AI-based coach is actually assisting you to do this on a daily basis, which is very elegant, simple, comfortable, but also very personal and anonymous. And in short, this is what Rocky is about as an introduction for first.
Okay, so it's a coaching chatbot. Can we just be clear on exactly what we mean by that? Because I suspect some people are forming an idea in their head, and we just want to be dead clear before we talk about coaching in general and then do more specific stuff.
Yes, coaching chatbots in that context means that Rocky is using coaching methods and in particular coaching questions to help the individual who's using the bot to reflect on things that matter. And these reflection and mindset interactions with Rocky are basically built around 5 minutes of answering important questions. And designed also in a way that you have your lead topic, you have your growth path that Rocky, the chatbot, is aware of, and then you will get your daily doses of questions, which should help you to define the thing that is relevant for you to keep on track, but also to accomplish your goals and your skills. And most important, therefore, are also the coaching questions. And the AI behind Rocky, behind the chatbot, is actually trained to ask smart questions, matching to the individual, matching to the mood of the day, matching to the growth path.
Okay, so let's just slow up here a little bit. Yeah. It's coaching is about asking questions. Okay. And we know that this helps because it will help people to understand themselves better. They can focus on their growth, etc. But what you're saying here is that the chatbot, the robot, let's call Rocky a robot. Yeah.
Okay.
I know a robot tends to have form, but it just helps me picture
it. Is.
The robot is asking the questions, correct?
Yes.
And
yes.
And so where are the questions coming from that the robot asks?
So one information up front, and this is also a very new thing. All the chatbots and the AI systems that you know today are actually fulfilling tasks or answering questions. And Rocky is one of the first chatbots or robot that is turning that around. So Rocky is actually pushing you to take responsibility with questions. Now, these questions are not just random questions. So behind Rocky is actually a system which is based on training of hundreds of books. So we integrate books, we integrate bite-sized learnings, for example, for sales skills, also for collaborative selling and similar. And these intelligence written by authors, coaches, professionals, we actually integrate into Rocky, and out from these knowledge, Rocky creates questions which are then used in the bot.
So Rocky creates the questions from the knowledge that's been put in, and it asks people stuff. So rather than tells, what you're saying is that normally chatbots, you ask a question, it gives you an answer.
Exactly.
Rocky asks you a question and you give it an answer.
Exactly.
And actually the answer is designed to make you think, like any other coaching interaction would do.
Exactly. And this is the main purpose, also coming back to Rocky and the coaching that we do with the robot. So it's all solution oriented, helping you with questions to actually get out what you already know, as you said, to think. And by thinking, you're starting the process of implementing those thoughts, bring them into reality. And by answering them, you actually do a little step forward. And now Rocky doesn't just stop with asking those questions, because the next question is connected with what you answered, and the next question is connected with your growth path and your overall goal. So Rocky will make you think, but Rocky will also assist you that you actually stay in focus to what is important for you.
And when you talk about the questions being connected, it isn't, if I'm understanding well, that somebody has written question A leads to question B, leads to question C, leads to question D. That's what happens on Monday. On Tuesday, E, F, G, H, and you're going to get a set of pre-programmed questions. If I'm correct, Rocky does not do that.
It does not do that. So an AI system, and here comes the opportunity, the potential with AI system. What you briefly described was classical software, which is presets and then is choosing something out. But an AI model is actually trained on many parameters, on many information, and the AI model is itself choosing the right question or response related to a context on which it is trained. So behind Rocky is also a training of a story, of a coaching story. In our case, it's a morning mindset and an evening reflection. And that brings the context for asking the questions together with the user growth target.
Okay, so again, let's just check we're understanding here. So Rocky is doing what a human coach would do. It will ask you a question, it will listen to your answer, and it will form a question based on the answer it's heard, so to speak.
Yes, it does, but I would not compare it with a human coach, because what the robot is sensing are your few words that you give back.
Yeah.
A human coach, of course, is sensing so much more. It's sensing it has empathy, it has a kind of a history, it knows your person. A Rocky is very neutral, or a robot in general. So it uses the information it gets, which is feeding the information, leading to a next question, and staying in the context, staying in a story. The story is, of course, compared to a human, limited.
Yeah.
Always to the stage what the robot is trained for and what the purpose is of the robot. So you kind of compare it with a human, but absolutely the intention is to have human-like conversations in a scope.
Sure. Yeah. We'll come on to the sort of the how it fits in with humans and human coaches in a minute. But what I was saying is, so it's not just a preset growth path, a preset set of questions. The question that you get will be different and probably unique and never ever asked in that order again.
The order will never come again in that way, and you actually influence the order. For example, if your mood is very low, if you're not satisfied, the whole theme of the story of the robots helping you will be a different one. It detects your sentiment, it detects the positivity, it detects your knowledge level, and all these parameters actually come in the follow-up questions. And therefore, it makes Rocky, for example, not just as your coach to ask your question. It is also a kind of your daily AI friend for sharing thoughts, doing the reflection, but also to tell out what you want to tell.
Sure, and because you talked about morning and evening reflections, and that's an integral part of Rocky. So, talk to me about why these are so important, why these work. I mean, whether you're using Rocky, piece of paper, real coach, whatever, why is that such a key way of growing and developing?
So, when we designed Rocky, and here comes also our background. So I'm a professional sales trainer and coach, did this for many years in a corporate environment, and I developed a lot of sales managers. And many coaches, trainers, educators out there actually know you do a fantastic training. The clients are excited, they are very happy, they learned a lot, they will conquer the world in that moment. And next Monday, it's all gone. They forgot about it. There's no excitement anymore. And 1 week later, they forgot most of the training, the coaching, the seminars, most of the intentions. And 2 months later, they are back where they have been before the training. And Rocky is designed in particular to actually implement your excitement, your learning into daily routines. And this is what we do with morning mindsets and evening reflections. So the morning mindsets are basically 5 minutes conversations to set the stage and the mindset for the day. What is important, what you want to do, why you want to do what. And the evening reflection is a reflection to actually assess a little bit what you have experienced, what you have learned, what you have done. And these two elements work together on the basis to actually build up those skills rather than educate you on those skills, which would be a kind of a different product or different approach.
Builds up, not educates. So you take the stuff that you've got, you take stuff you've just learned or that you know already, yeah, and it will build this up by just giving you those nudges in the morning, setting you off on the right track, and in the evening, what did you take out of today? Don't just lose what's been 10, 12, however many hours of learning because you've had experiences. Let's capture that stuff.
Exactly.
And
this is also a complete different approach, coming back to those chatbots and learning out there. So you read a book one-sided, you get those information, you learn. You watch a YouTube video, fantastic YouTube videos. You read articles, fantastic, you do the trainings. However, they are all one too many, so they are generic, the questions are very powerful, but that's a one-time question. And so the whole questioning and the chats with Rocky are actually little pieces, little questions, which are easy to answer on a daily way, but are connected to a bigger purpose. And it's a complete new way of using technology. Yeah, there's not many product companies out there that do what we do. And it is definitely designed for adults, for young professionals who have some knowledge. So we don't use Rocky to educate children. But this part of daily practice and reflection is a part that is missing in our professional world today.
Why is it just young professionals?
The young professionals is our initial target group. So we are a startup. We start with a focus segment, with an audience that we please most first. So that's why it is one of our target group. But secondly, also, I can tell that the younger generation in general is more open to technology, to share information, to speak openly, whereby the elder generation, the more seasoned generation, do have more respect against technology. They don't trust it upfront. And if you don't trust the chatbot and don't tell anything, you can also not get anything out. So it's a new thing.
Yeah.
Therefore, it works a bit better for younger generations.
So I use Rocky. Okay, so no, again, you
You're
know
a
that I
very
use it
young,
as part of
handsome
my
man.
course, but I thank you. So this is exactly you beat me to the point. It's like I use it, I like it, I do my morning and evening reflections. It makes me a young professional. Yeah, some people will argue I'm neither young nor professional, but that's no. That's really interesting. It's actually I was kind of smiling when you were talking about people feel or can feel a little bit suspicious about talking openly to technology. It's
Yes.
like you also said earlier, Rocky's neutral. I mean, at the end of the day, I actually do also personalize Rocky and see it a little bit like a person. But actually, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's tech. You know, the information you give it is probably a load safer than even the best coach in the world. You're still telling another human being, aren't you? So I don't know. Maybe lots of
There is
coaches are now hating me listening to this at the moment, but
there is a good point, and there is some power with technology, especially in terms of neutrality, diversity, and other points. So, in the whole process of the app of Rocky, we never ask who the person is. We never ask what the education was. We never ask female, male, background, country. It doesn't matter. It only matters what you say, what you want, what you give, how you are inspired, and what you take out of that. So it's completely unbiased, and we also will not start to bring bias in any form because we created Rocky as a little executive coach for everyone.
yeah.
So, and this is some power of that you can utilize technology for in a good way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Many things we use in both good and bad way, but no, I'm totally get because my own mantra is think, learn, do. You know, as I said to you when we first started chatting, you know, think. Okay, yeah, I can help you think. You know, I've written the book. Fine, learn. I've been training for a number of years, so I can help you learn. Do. That's the kind of that's where learning really happens anyway. So
Yeah.
anything that helps us do that, you know, whether it's a sales enablement platform that I might use in training, people's action plans has traditionally been what we've done, but something that gets you thinking about the stuff that's going to make a difference day and night based on your
Mhm.
own experience.
Yes.
That's rocket fuel. That is really, yeah, that's why I'm so excited about using it anyway. It just
Yes.
makes total sense to me. Why would you not want to do that?
Yes. So if I may ask, how did you experience so far using a coaching bot for sales skills or other topics, and what did you get out of that by practicing it?
Yeah, no, that's my podcast. What are you doing, Harry? No. Um, so I use it. I use it daily. I don't look at the sales stuff in it. Because as we know, a lot of the sales stuff in it is comes from my book. So it's
Yes.
I like to kind of know that, but no, I use it for the other elements because and that's actually how I position it with sales people that I'm using Rocky with. You know, it's look, here's the app. You know, we've just done collaborative selling training. In there, you have the book, the training, everything. It's loaded in. Rocky's read it, is how I say it. And
Yes.
so, if that's what you want to focus on, it'll ask you questions to keep your mind sharp. You get up in the morning, ask your question: How are you going to be using collaborative selling techniques today? In the evening, what have you been doing with it? But if you want to turn that off and turn on one of the other elements because you feel that's what's more important to you and that's what's going to help you as a professional salesperson, go for it. You know, I want you to be successful, whichever way, shape, or form you need to do something to get better, crack on, you know. So I use it and I flick between the sections of purpose to keep
Mhm.
myself really focused, to keep myself doing the things that
Mhm.
are going to make a difference and discipline. so,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
one's kind of the big picture. Yeah, you know, this is what you're trying to do, and Rocky helps me do
Yes.
that. And I get all dreamy, and then I think, you know what, mate, I need some help to actually apply this. So I put the task focus
Mhm.
stuff on, and it's how you going to prepare, what you're going to do, what are the main things you're trying to achieve, and it asks me that literally first thing in the morning. Is the first thing I do now. It
Oh,
sets up
fantastic.
the whole. It is because otherwise I'll forget and I'll lose it. But it then sets up the whole day, and everything I'm doing from then it's directed by it, and it works. You know, and in the evening I look back and it's very cool because it makes you think about the stuff you've done, and it isn't always the obvious things. It isn't
Mm-hmm.
all the, oh, I wrote a really good proposal for somebody, or I delivered a big piece of training for 20 people.
Yes.
It's actually, I just did that little thing, and that was pretty impactful. And it just because of the questions are very clever in that it will just remind you sometimes of those little things that are all advancements. They're all little bits which are helping
Yes.
you grow. So I love it. I'm a fan.
Thank you so much. Happy to hear that. That actually brings me to one of your initial questions, what is coaching? And uh, yeah, there is many definitions of coaching. There's standards and everywhere. But for me, in short, coaching is something that brings you forward to make action. And we never tried to create a therapy product or finding your root problems, why you are demotivated. This is important. Totally understand. But here, eventually, humans are the better partners to help you identify these things. If you go with a therapy mindset and find your issues that you eventually had in your teenage years with your first date, Rocky will not get that out. But it's also not intended. It's really about doing action. Get the questions, be inspired, take these questions and think about what you can do. Go forward, do something. You have the day ahead. Make the best out of it. And this is where I see coaching, the strength of coaching. And this is a guideline how we develop Rocky. It's very forward oriented.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, keeps you, I use the word advancing, so keeps you advancing, keeps you moving forward, helps you make actions. That is what it is. And it does do that, you know? But at the end of the day, you have to do them. It can't do it for you. Same as a human
Yeah.
coach can't do it for you. You have to do whatever, whether it's, therapy coaching, whether it's kind of action coaching, skills coaching. It's down to the individual. And so it's the way I see it is that it's just another layer. Yeah. And,
Yes.
and so the way I would tend to use it is, guys, we will do some learning. So we'll do some teaching. I will run training
Mm-hmm.
sessions, virtual, live, whatever. Um, and we will have some coaching, one-to-one or group. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
one is me very much in transmit. One is me more, and actually, training's not totally transmit, but you know what I mean. One is a lot more in receive, as in I'm asking questions. And actually,
Yes.
the information I'm receiving, it's it's not irrelevant. I don't need that because I'm not going to do anything with it. It's to get
Yes.
you thinking. Now, I
Yes.
might say, because I believe coaching should be pragmatic rather than dogmatic, that actually, you know what you said there? I'm going into direct mode. I'm just going to tell you this is a way to do that.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, in commercial training, we haven't got time to sit and let things develop, particularly if someone's going to make a mistake and lose a deal, whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, that's me. That's Fred doing his stuff. And that's what, we'll have a couple
Yes.
of hours in the training, we'll have a couple of hours in the coaching. But
Yes.
I can't be with everybody morning and evening.
Exactly.
But this
And
is
here I
getting
also
close to it. This is getting close to it. So
and mhm.
it augments it. It's adding this other dimension. People are keeping on it, keeping thinking. I know that'll deliver the results. That'll be helping people to move forward faster because they're keeping thinking about making those little changes. We talk about those,
Yes.
aggregating marginal gains and the 1%ers. Yeah. So you
Yes.
keep doing that. It just makes sense to me. It fits very nicely.
And this in particular for sales oriented jobs and professions even more important because if you're a sales guy, it doesn't matter why you have a problem to call someone. It matters that you call someone,
Yeah.
which is one of the main attitudes that every good salesperson has to develop. I also wanted just to repeat something that you said. So a robot, a chatbot, will not replace human coaches, trainers, because their role is way bigger. But I have to say, and I think that 98% of any person out there is not the perfect candidate for following up on a daily basis. We are too lazy for that. We forget it. So imagine you have to call your clients every second day, and did you do it now? Did you actually practice? We will not do that. We are not made for that. And I perfectly see the machine as the coach's extension, the third arm, that actually is doing the following up for you. And it will do it better because it's a machine. And this is how we should utilize technology to extend our work, our contribution in a purposeful way.
Yeah, it's a machine. It's relentless. And I'll tell you what, you know the image that's just come into my head? When you talk about this machine, it's relentless, it carries on. I've just thought of Terminator. You know, in the film Terminator, you can't stop it. It just keeps going. You know, I think there's a line that's something like, you know, the thing with the Terminator, it will not stop. You know, and look, I wonder if this is why there is a little bit, or you know, there is pushback to AI and to using this kind of technology, in that people do see this rise of machines. They see Terminators, they see things which are going to take us over. You know, Skynet's going to run us. It's one of my favorite films, by the way. But is that something you found as well, that people are a little bit suspicious because it's like, oh, you know, AI, it's a frightening piece of kit?
Yes. So me as AI specialist, you know, what is AI? AI is statistics put into software. Yeah, the short description I can give. The shortest description I can give.
AI is statistics put into software.
Exactly. So it gives the highest probable outcomes. Now, thinking, we are all trained on AI. We watch these movies, good movies and science fiction movies and whatever. We watched Her, the lover on the Voice channel. Maybe one day we get that, the super intelligent, all-knowing Her, but very far away because machines are not that intelligent. And I will say again something about the intelligence of machines. And then we have Terminators. They come and destroy us. So we are trained by movies with an expectation in good and bad, which is actually not the reality. So Rocky is not a human, for example. Rocky will not give you a therapy, but Rocky will also not take over your house. Rocky will do your morning mindset session and remind you to do actions. That's what it does, and it will not go out of that. And yeah, we are trained on some expectations towards robots and AI from movies. And yes, this is making it difficult for utilizing products or for engaging with it. Yeah. But in practice, every software can be used in a bad way, like Facebook secretly taking your data, or in a good way to help you with something. It's depending on the company that you trust and the product that you really like to use and the outcome that you get.
I hope you're not going to get me in trouble with that comment. But no, it is funny, isn't it, when people say, oh, I don't like AI, I'm not going to use it. Normally on Facebook, people are whinging about this. You're like, well, okay, it's interesting where you decide to put that. But no, it's the other reason I was smiling when you were talking about we're trained by movies. There's also that kind of preconception because of, you know, how people see salespeople, you know, and you kind of go, right, I'm a salesperson that's been trained by AI. I mean, people are just going to absolutely hate you.
Yes.
Then when you say, well, no, hang on a minute, what is sales about? Sales is about trying to help you. Sales is about trying to find value and work with you and collaborate. Yeah. AI is about, I believe, augmenting the human. It's making me better. It's doing some heavy lifting. It's giving me that discipline. It's just, it's to make us better. So AI to empower a salesperson. Now, whether that's in them as a human or them with their CRM or them with, you know, whatever other, you know, there's quite a lot of AI that can help salespeople. It's, I'm only trying to do stuff better here, you know, and why would you not want to?
Yeah. By saying that, there's actually two more beneficial values that the app with Rocky is actually providing, creating, in particular for salespeople. So we talked about what the coaching chatbot does. It's asking you good questions, little doses, reflecting, thinking, take action.
Yeah.
But now there are two things happening in parallel within the app. You get actually bite-sized learnings, a lot of collaborative sales materials,
Yeah.
which matching to your questions and your answers in real time. So actually, Rocky is choosing, together with the chat, a daily little doses of learning for reading, watching, hearing that comes along with the chat. So you're not just getting this reflective part, you also get actual real learning information, little bite-sized sizes at that moment when it makes sense to read it. And there is a third effect.
So just before you go on to the third one, so yeah, again, I experienced that. Not because I've been looking at collaborative selling stuff. I did have a little look actually, see how it all, make sure it is integrated well. And what's really cool is it doesn't just keep saying, oh, here is the stuff from Fred's book. Here is the stuff from it. It's, oh, if you just said that, well, here is the bit you need, and it's pulled it from somewhere else. Likewise, in what I'm normally doing around the discipline or the focus stuff, every now and again it's pulled something that I've written, which I thought was quite funny because of what I've answered. It said, actually, no, here is the piece you need to read. It's about questioning skills or something like, okay, cool. So it's genuinely like, a human would go, and you've been in those conversations where you say, oh, Fred, hang on a minute, and you'll turn around and you'll grab your book and say, this is really good, this stuff in here, you want to have, let me just have a look. Ah, there it is. It does that. That's what a human does. How many times have you been in conversation where someone just grabs the book or says, oh, have you read so and so? It's doing that, but it's got access to so much that it will always pull those right things in. That's cool. So what was the third thing?
Okay, before I come to the third thing, I just want to follow up, and here comes our vision into place, because we see with products like Rocky and with the vision that we are creating, that we actually will revolutionize education for adults. Coaching is the right method because adults learned a lot. Reflection is an amazing tool to increase awareness. Follow up with a coaching bot to find actions. Amazing, it brings it into practice. And getting those learnings from this huge world of so much knowledge at the right time in little doses for when you need it. Thinking of that, doing that, you will actually have a system to get your daily doses of knowledge, education, and follow up. You will not have to Google your things anymore. But once you read these books and learned about it, you will get these pieces of information back again when it's needed. And that's really powerful. And now I can come to the third point. The third point is that I can discover from users who share the feedback with me that they actually start, and this is very cool for salespeople, they start to become great articulators. So after doing these reflection chats, they are becoming very precise in what they actually answer and say for the day. Like users start with, how are you? Sad. How are you? Tired. How are you? Good. But after a while, the answer is changing. I didn't have enough rest yesterday, so I should start the day a bit slower, take it a bit earlier this evening, and to be more powerful tomorrow because I have a meeting. That comes with the third question. So you're actually educating yourself to become a great articulator, to become more precise, to say what matters instead of wishy-washy. And thinking of a salesperson, well, that's the best training tool you can have. Because being concise, telling the right story, being on point is one of the skills that are really very relevant for salespeople.
That is so true. And again, I'm just reflecting on myself here in that, ask the question, and I know you can dictate into it. I type. I don't know what much to do. I've never really thought about why I do that, but yeah, because I'm typing, I do try to make it concise. I try to make it punchy, and so rather than, we know what people like. You ask questions like blah 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 blah. It's like make it punchy, bam 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 bam. Yeah. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, I'm going to start selling that as as a benefit as well when I explain to people why they should be using this when I add it
really
into the
practicing
training.
every day. Exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's everyday practice. So, and again, look at elite performers. It's all about practice. It's all about they concentrate on the stuff they know makes
Yes.
a difference. But it's
Yes.
difficult. The discipline to do that is tricky. So wow. No, it's really cool. This is really helpful, and I hope people listening are starting to understand why you do what you do, why I use it into what I do, because it has this potential to make such a difference. It really does.
It does. Yes.
So, okay, so um, last question then. Well, two more questions.
Hmm?
Is there anything more we need to know about Rocky? Is there anything I'm not asked that I should do? What would Rocky ask now?
Before,
I should have Rocky here going, come on, Rocky, what shall I ask?
yes. No, but one thing that I can say is, so Rocky is out there available. So everyone who has an interest to try out a
Yep,
coaching bot, you can search for Rocky.ai. You
yep.
will find an Android, iOS app. You even can use Rocky on Amazon Alexa and talk with Rocky via your Alexa devices. And for every new sign up, there's actually free periods where the full access of the app and the content is there. And after a few weeks, most contents require a subscription, but there is also always free content as positive thinking inside the app.
Okay.
So I actually invite uh, everyone to try it out. Trying out is for free. You can experience it. You can get a sense of a feeling. You can start it and then think about if this is a product for you to do your daily practices and increase your activities and engagement.
Brilliant. I'll pop a link. I'll pop a link into the show notes and into all the stuff that we promote this with, so that people, and I can only underline what you said. I'd encourage people to have a go. It's actually, well, it makes a difference. I can speak from personal experience. So cool. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for
and
that.
the greatest thing collaborative selling is inside. It's fully integrated.
That is
Um,
that's pretty cool too. But no, I'm
yes,
talking to Rocky about the whole thing in the bigger picture. But yeah, as a salesperson, you might want to have a
yes,
look. Okay, no. So my last question is, you and I are going to jump on a plane. Let's pretend we're allowed. We're going to
okay.
jump on a plane and we're going to go somewhere where we can make a difference, where we can do some good to people who are less fortunate than us. They're not in this privileged position. Shall we jump on a plane to Africa, Asia, or Latin America? Which one of those do you think we could make biggest impact on?
Ooh, that question. Now I need to think about it because um, when we designed Rocky, it was designed for
Don't
everyone.
worry about Rocky. Forget Rocky for a moment. This is you and me. We're
And
going to go. We're going to get our hands dirty. We're going to do good old-fashioned human endeavor to try to help people out.
so that now it then depends on how we want to help, because each region would be different. I think personally, the Asians are very good in education. The Asians are well on track. I lived for 10 years in Asia. It's a powerhouse. I don't think they need help.
Okay.
But I also don't think that South America or Africa needs help. I don't think that anybody needs help. Everybody has the control to make something right. So I would take the train, and a little bit with my socialistic opinion, I would go to some corporates around the world, big stock markets, and use the plane there to limit them to make profits on others, which are
Uh,
limiting those countries. And that would be my airplane destination to have a good speech with those
uh,
people.
that is really cool. That is really cool. No, the reason I ask a question is that I believe in business for good, and as part of this, I'm a member of B1G1,
Mhm.
which is a way that I can make donations where they are going to have impact to people who are less privileged. And what I like to do is when people have given up their time, come on a podcast, is make a donation to something where we can have impact. And I do align to education. So you said that you were in Asia. So I'm going to pick Asia then on your behalf. And what I'm going to do is for Asia in Cambodia, there people struggle to get to school because of the distances. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sort out some children with some bicycles,
Oh, nice.
so that they can get to school and they can learn. Just to thank you, to say,
Yes.
you've given us some time, you've shared a lot of information, and what we do, we're going to do this anyway, but let's get some other people to benefit from our conversation too.
Fantastic. Yes, fantastic. And I think also, whenever somebody is interested to cooperate with us, I think both of us, we are also very open to provide our services for a good sake, without costs and good collaborations, because this is a very good thing to help, in particular for education.
100%. So where do people find you, Harry? How can they get in touch?
So if you're listening to me, so I'm Harry. You can contact me straightforward. We will probably put an email address under the podcast. And secondly, you can find out more about the company, the products at rocky.ai. Everything is there to get on first including links for some products, or also contacting us as well.
Brilliant. I will put those in. Thank you so much for your time. Really, really interesting. I do hope that people can take this, can think about it, and can start to use Rocky, because, from what you've explained, they can only benefit in a very, very, very cost-effective way.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this fantastic talk.
And cheers.
Happy to have you on the side. Cheers.
No, thank you.